Hi guys, before you get into the next amazing conversation with another amazing guest, I just wanted to tell you I have now moved over to Substack. So it's the Never Settle Podcast.substack.com. The reason I've done that is because of the increase in censorship I am finding on YouTube, and I'm worried that maybe one day they're going to deplatform me. So please head over to Substack and subscribe. I'm very new into it. It's growing. There will be a lot more content on there going forwards and hope to see you over there. Well, hello, lovely listeners, and welcome, viewers. Today, by popular demand, I have a returning guest, the wonderful Joy Warren. And if you saw my previous podcast with Joy, she was actually here with me in the lodge, which you can't see right now, um, because she literally lives just there, over there. Um, and it's amazing that this woman who's been pretty much on a one-woman crusade for over 20 odd years, in the name of how bad fluoridation is for people and why the hell are our government mandating it and putting it into our drinking water. We sort of met each other 20 odd years ago without realizing it, and then it all came to light a few months ago, and here we are, and she's back on the podcast, which I'm super excited about because we've got a few things we can share. So welcome back, Joy. You are, sorry, what I didn't say was Joy spearheads the Freedom Free, sorry, the Fluoride Free Alliance UK. I might have said that wrong again.
No, that was
That
fine.
was right.
Hello, hello, Mel.
So welcome, Joy. Thanks for coming back. I know you are a very, very busy lady.
Oh, that's fine, but I can come down to you for coffee when we finished, if you like.
So the reason why I wanted to get you back on so soon is because of the class action that you are working with a barrister, barrister's firm down in London. You've been this lady who was dealing with the legal aspect of this, the barrister. She was, well, you tell us, Joy. She was involved with
Jobs, not jabs.
jobs, not jabs. That's it.
And she managed to get so many NHS employees to sign the letter before claim to go to the government solicitors that Sajid Javid capitulated without causing them any job losses whatsoever.
Yeah.
They were trying to mandate the vaccine, but they didn't succeed, which is wonderful.
Exactly. So she's got good form, and she's also got a good heart, and she innately knows that mandating fluoride in our water, especially when it's not natural fluoride, people, this is a chemical fluoride that comes from toxic waste. Is not good for humans, it's not good for children, it's not good for our health, and it's been very detrimental. In fact, Joy, you were just telling me about a particular incident of a lady in California. Do you want to tell us what happened with her?
Right, so this lady was fluoridated, but she also became slightly addicted or very addicted to iced tea. Now, the tea leaf from the Indian tea bush, Camellia sinensis, is a bioaccumulator of fluoride. So if it's in the soil, then it's taken up into the leaves. And the older leaves have more fluoride in them than the younger leaves. Now, I don't know what the iced tea manufacturers were doing, which sort of tea leaf they were buying in. Let's look at the worst case scenario. They were using very old leaves to make their iced tea, which was sold in packets, in cartons. So she was drinking this particular product, which is probably made up with fluoridated tap water, in the factory which made the iced tea. And she was drinking so much a day that after a few months she was very ill, and nobody could work out why, until her husband, who was a water treatment engineer, said, "I think you're drinking too much of that stuff. It looks as though it's a huge amount. Just try stopping and seeing what happens to your health." So she did, and her health improved. We think it probably was her endocrine system which was being messed up. And possibly, had she continued, she would have come down with arthritic-like symptoms, which is the first stage of skeletal fluorosis, because the bones accumulate fluoride. So when we have fluoride in our environment, we retain 50% of what we ingest, and we excrete the rest. So she was really damaging her kidneys as well, all the fluoride flowing through them. So there
Wow.
you go. That's just one case. And obviously we've got lots of people in the West Midlands who are fluoridated,
Mm,
older ladies, say 50 to 60, who are coming down with hypothyroidism, which is an endocrine problem. And because they are drinking fluoridated tap water, probably love their cups of tea and probably having lovely hot baths every now and then, what, twice or three times a week, sometimes I've heard. Well, that's all going to cause an insult to the, or challenge to the thyroid gland.
yeah.
And 50% more hypothyroidism in fluoridated West Midlands compared to non-fluoridated Greater Manchester.
Is there any studies? I'm thinking of so basically, as some viewers and you know, Joy, I've taken on the Orinoco pod, which is a frequency healing device, which is in my pod behind me now, in my lodge, sorry, behind me now. And I've just had a guy come in and use it for the first time before I've jumped on here. It's a guy I know, and he's got arthritis. And I was asking him. I said, look, I'm not being personal, but did you get jabbed? He went, yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah. I said, how many? Three. He said, look, I just did, I just did what everyone was doing at the time. I said, yeah, no, I'm not judging you. I just wanted to know. So I was telling him about other protocols. But I said to him, are you drinking clean water? Are you distilling your water? He went, no, it's just tap water. I was just like, I said, okay. I said, what about bottled water? He says, yeah, I love bottled water. I says, right, okay, well, that's better than tap, but we still know bottled water's crap as well. So, but bless him, he's doing this protocol where he's spraying on these sprays to detox his body. It's another lady that he found through me, and it's a way of detoxing stuff out of your system. But then he's still drinking tap water. And I'm just like, when you were talking about the skeletal fluorosis, which is arthritic symptoms, are doctors diagnosing it as skeletal, I'm probably saying it wrong, fluorosis, or are they just going straight to arthritis without even thinking about that?
Just going to arthritis,
Yeah.
osteoporosis, possibly, but
Yeah.
nobody's thinking about what's causing it.
What's causing it?
Well,
Yeah.
I think possibly the doctor gives you painkillers, but they say, well, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, x-rays and painkillers. It's like my mum has a bit of arthritis. She's still great. She's still walking and all the rest of it, but she knows she's got it. And she drinks a lot of tea and she doesn't clean her water, and it doesn't matter what I say. And then I think about my sister-in-law who claims that she's going to outlive me, even though she's been in hospital a million times. She's got dodgy knees. She's had a million water infections, kidney infections, you name it. And when she tried the distilled water in my house, she was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Well, the reason is when you first start drinking distilled water, it's highlighting the crap that from the tap water that we've been drinking, the metals and anything else that's in there, and that's what you can taste to begin with, until obviously you've got used to it. And okay, distilled water is a bit bland, um, and so she now refuses to drink it, preferring her copious amounts of bottled water or putting tap water into a plastic bottle, I'm sure at times. But they won't hear it. They won't hear that stuff in our tap water could be contributing to these problems that they're having, especially as you get older and older and older, because it's accumulating, it's accumulating, it's accumulating. How do we educate people on that?
It's very difficult because distilled water is not a very nice taste. So if we were to say, look, just add a little bit of lemon juice to give it a little bit of oomph, or bicarbonate of soda, or buy a little phial of natural minerals to just put a few drops in to give it a bit more body,
Yeah,
that's got to be fine. But people don't want to spend time distilling water. It is a bit of a discipline. But after a while, you get used to it. I mean, we got our distiller on the go all the time. We're making huge amount of bottled water, distilled water for our own use.
yeah,
It's just perfectly easy to do. Obviously, if you're an older person and your hands are a little bit arthritic, it's very difficult because you're lifting up 4 liters of water at a time, and you're pouring it into a bottle, which if you can't lift your arms up above your shoulders, it is difficult to do. So if you're on your own, then it's more difficult than it is for people like you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other options, aren't there? You don't have to distill it. You could get reverse osmosis, plumbed in, under your sink, all that sort of stuff. So there are other options for people.
You can, but see, people who haven't got the money can't afford a plumber.
Yeah.
And unless they really see how important it is. Now, I've been thinking in the last few hours about the water treatment works and how they use aluminium sulfate to get rid of the impurities as the water's going through the water treatment works. Now, there must be some aluminium which actually stays in the treated water. Most of it becomes part of what are known as flocks, white fluffy things which sit on the top of the water as it goes through the treatment works. Some surely must fall to the bottom. And if you look at the water quality reports for Severn Trent or any other company, you'll find that there is aluminium in the finished water that comes out of your tap. Now, is that aluminium in the water they get from the reservoirs, or is it the aluminium from the water treatment works? And I have no idea. It's something we have to discuss with Severn Trent. And I think possibly within a fluoridated area, you've then got aluminium, and then you have fluoride added. And aluminium fluoride is a really bad thing for your brain, because if your blood-brain barrier is weak, broached, or anything like that, it's really bad to have aluminium and fluoride in your drinking water, because it does cause a problem with your brain. We believe that aluminium is a cause of Alzheimer's.
I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got a blood-brain barrier which has been weakened by an illness, a recent illness, then your aluminium fluoride is going to go into your brain and start causing mayhem. And that's one of the causes of Alzheimer's. So the reason why I don't drink tap water is because of the impurities. That's right. Yes. I mean, we don't really need any more people who lose their brains. And it's such a bad thing for an society to have so many old people who come down with dementia or Alzheimer's before their time. It's
Yeah.
not a natural progress of old age. It's just a buildup of toxicity in the body. So we have to try and avoid drinking water, which is supposed to comply with all the standards, but it doesn't, because it's not what you have been drinking per litre that's doing the damage. It's what you've been drinking per day, per week, per month, per year, for decades of your life. It's all bioaccumulating.
Is there any official stats that you've had a look at that shows how Alzheimer's and dementia have risen over the last, say, 20 years or so?
Yes, it most certainly has. That's my gut feeling. Yes, I've seen reports of increase in Alzheimer's and dementia, but I can't quote you chapter and verse.
No, that's fine. I was just thinking about the meeting with Severn Trent, and that would be a useful bit of information for them to digest. So, so you've been on this trail for a long time. You know, fluoride, from your own experience, from other people's experiences, has promoted poor health. And we also know from the previous podcast that it reduces the IQ of kids because obviously they're not fully developed. And if they're drinking a lot of fluoride through their water or however they're taking it, um, it's contributing to a lower IQ. So why is it? And this is the main reason for the podcast, and it's this class action because the UK government are insisting on mandatory fluoridation and have done for a long time, but they now want to expand the reach, right? So why do you think the government are trying to expand it when around the world they are banning it? And B, you need to let us know, Joy, who is now under threat of fluoridation.
Yes, certainly. Well, my gut feeling is that the establishment, um, the permanent cabinet secretary, perhaps, and all the higher civil servants who are there permanently in the background are there throughout every single administration. So each government just basically listens to what the senior civil servants say and follow their lead. So I feel that there's definitely a hidden agenda here. They know in governments that it's not doing our health any good. They also know that it's not reducing dental decay as much as they used to think it is. So, for example, in a fluoridated child living in a fluoridated area, age 5, the decrease in dental decay is 3% compared to non-fluoridated children. And 3% is nothing. It's only a small filling, as it were. And you're spending a lot of money and causing a lot of anguish in a way by fluoridating an entire population just to reduce a filling for so many children. Um, well, why are they doing it? Worldwide, it's now reducing, very much so in America. And a couple of places in Canada and Australia have also stopped fluoridation because of the proven reduction in a child's intelligence when it's in the womb and when it's an infant being fed with fluoridated tap water as part of its baby formula. So if mother in a fluoridated area is drinking tea, fluoridated water, possibly some pharmaceutical drugs which contain fluoride, or any food made in the fluoridated area, she is going to be overexposing her unborn child to all the fluoride she's taking in, which then gets into her bloodstream, goes through the placenta. There is no blood-brain barrier in the unborn child. So, of course, any fluoride is gradually going to get up into the brain and is going to do damage to the neurons. And it's very difficult, complicated thing here, but because it's an enzyme destroyer, then any enzymes in the brain are going to be disrupted, and therefore we believe, and we not believe, we know that the reduction in IQ in the unborn child is permanent. Now, when that child is born and is given baby formula made up with fluoridated tap water, then it's going to be even less intelligent because there's no blood-brain barrier in the infant until they get to about 6 months. But nobody really knows this. They just don't know when the blood-brain barrier is fully formed in a child. So it could be anything up to a year. And if the baby is premature, it's going to get even more baby formula and probably will be weaned for several months.
So, in terms of the fact that, in the UK, there are certain areas, or there's 5 water companies that do mandatory fluoridation, and I've spoken to Severn Trent, I'm in Severn Trent's area, and they tell me the government tells them they have to put this in, so therefore they do it, and that's it, that's the end of the conversation. Why? So, from a curious perspective, how long has mandatory fluoridation been going on already? And why is it taking all this time for the government to go, do you know what? We're going to extend this out now to some other water companies and to some other counties, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Do you know why it took all of these years to get to this point?
All right. It was legalized in 1985, which is about 21 years after Birmingham first fluoridated its water, being given a grant by America to do it. 85 to 64 to 89, 87 was the period when all the water fluoridation programs were put into operation. Since 87, there have been no new fluoridation schemes because the anti-fluoridation movement has been quite strong, and we have been able to persuade local authorities not to do it. Now, having succeeded all this time, the government took over the fluoridation program lock, stock, and barrel in 2022.
Interesting timing, Joy.
Yeah, wasn't it just indeed? And therefore, they are responsible in central government for everything. Now, they are just sat there waiting for local authorities to make a proposal to please, could you go out to public consultation on fluoridation so that our residents can be fluoridated? And we're waiting for some sort of announcement now for the following areas: Nottingham, Nottinghamshire, Rutland County, Norfolk, Greater London, Cornwall, Worcestershire, um, and that's about it really at the moment. Oh, and of course, let's not forget the Northeast. 1.6 million people have now been approved for fluoridation after a farcical public consultation last summer. And it took until March this year for the Department of Health to say, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fluoridate the whole of County Durham, the whole of Sunderland, South Tyneside, Darlington, Stockton-on-Tees, Middlesbrough, Redcar with Cleveland, 23 villages in North Yorkshire. And if anybody is listening in North Yorkshire, if you've got an MP called Rishi Sunak, then you're destined to become fluoridated. And then there are two communities up in North East Cumbria, which are also threatened because they're getting water from Northumbrian water. So Northumbrian is not going to make any exceptions. If they're going to fluoridate the top of the valley, they're going to fluoridate these two places in Northeast Cumbria as well, and as well as the villages in North Yorkshire.
Are these new areas under threat? Are they still the same five water companies or are they different ones?
Same, the
It's
same.
the same water
Yeah,
companies.
not increasing any water companies unless there are some fringe water companies around Greater London which are supplying the people in Greater London. On the other one I forgot to tell you about is Northumberland. The bits that aren't fluoridated at the moment, but parts of Northumberland, including Alnwick, I think, are fated to become fluoridated.
I'm going to put in a photograph of my wonderful map that I created for Joy. And I have to say, it's not 100% accurate, guys. Do you know how difficult it is to find 100% accuracy in terms of fluoridated versus threatened fluoridation? That information is not easily accessible. But as I'm talking, you will see the map on the screen right now. So the red areas are already fluoridated. The pink areas are the ones under threat. So have a good look at this map right now. Are you already affected? Are you going to be affected? And I think it's important to say, even if you're not currently under threat, if they get their way, if the establishment get their way and all of those pink areas become red, it ain't stopping there, is it, guys? It ain't stopping there. So the sooner more and more people get together to stop this bullshit, and going back to the 2022 when the UK government took over this whole shit show, it's clearly part of the agenda 21, 25, 2030, right? It's clearly part of the WEF and the WHO's bullshit of trying to poison us in even more ways than they already are. We know we're getting it from the skies. We know we're getting it from the food. We know we're getting it from water. We know we're getting it from pharmaceuticals. And when you were talking about aluminium, I'm on a bit of a rant. When you were talking about aluminium, in it's in toothpaste as well. It's in the water. We know we've got heavy metals in water, and the association with aluminium and Alzheimer's. We also know it's in the jabs, right? So not only are you getting it through the water, you're getting it with all of these boosters, flu jabs, other jabs. Newborns are given a allegedly vitamin K jab. Well, I don't know if you've seen Victoria Rixon's one of her latest videos, and she talks about exactly what is in that vitamin K jab that a newborn baby receives into their beautifully fresh and beautiful immune system. Mostly, I know some babies are born with problems. It ain't vitamin K, guys. So all of these attacks that are coming from every angle, no wonder Alzheimer's and dementia's gone through the roof. No wonder people are getting more arthritic younger. No wonder, like my brother-in-law's friend, who is early 60s, I think, maybe early to mid 60s, had a devastating diagnosis of motor neurone disease and was told probably 3 years. He's fit and healthy. He's always been fit and healthy. He probably got them and he probably might drink tap water. I don't know. But I want him to come and use the pod. I want to have a conversation with him. I want to try and see where he's at with things because he's gone from being quite a tight jock and a businessman and all the rest of it, just to talking about, well, fuck it, I'm just going to spend all my money and enjoy my last days. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think this is the end for him. But of course, it's his journey, and if he doesn't believe in all this stuff, then I'll be flogging a dead horse. But it's just getting that awareness out there. Anyway, rant over.
Fine. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, motor neurone disease is a difficult one, isn't it? Is it hereditary as well as possibly
Not sure.
being
Not sure.
environmental overload, as it were? All these things that you've been talking about, they're invisible, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everything we're being exposed to. We can probably see the chemtrails, of course. Um, we can probably see if our water's got aluminium sulfate in it. If it's too much, it's blue. It goes blue. That's something to watch out for. But it's unlikely to happen following Camelford and the disaster down there, where so many people were overexposed to aluminium that they came down with Alzheimer's very quickly, early onset Alzheimer's. So anyway, so we're talking about
We're talking about,
help
yeah, the mandation. Yeah.
trying to get people to be, how can I say, really angry that their drinking water, their precious drinking water, is not drinking water. It's medicinal water, and therefore it doesn't comply with the Drinking Water Directive, and therefore there are no regulations, no standards, no guidelines for the amount of tap water, for all the things in the tap water, in the medicinal water, to help to protect us. If it's not drinking water, it's medicinal water, then why should we pay for it? Now, the people who we are looking for to do the class action, or rather, we're trying to call it a group challenge, are people who are fluoridated and people who are threatened, and also anybody else who objects to fluoridation. So we want them to go into a reserve list. So Group A, fluoridated, please volunteer to sign or put your name to the bottom of a letter before claim, which will be going to the government solicitors when we have enough people to make it really very, very powerful. Then the people who are threatened, they're also being asked to become claimants, and they'll be Group B. And Group B claimants, please, it's fine. Just sign up for this particular part of the action. All you need to do is just say, I want my name to be put to the end of a letter before claim. Now, the letter before claim is decided on by the solicitors, our barrister and the government solicitors. The outcome, if there are any parts of that letter before claim which the solicitors agree to, they will be put to one side because they've been agreed. Anything which is not agreed will proceed to a court of law. That'll be stage 2 of the group challenge. So stage 1 is completely free of any adverse costs or penalties. It doesn't cost anything in court costs or anything like that. Everybody who wants to sign, just basically please register. Now, there is a small admin fee of £24 or £6 if people are in hardship. And that actually pays for a contract between our barrister and the claimant in Group A or Group B. Group C, the ones who are concerned, don't pay anything at all. We're just keeping them in reserve just in case they become threatened at a later stage. So this particular group challenge is going ahead now, but we haven't actually issued the letter because we're still collecting Group A and Group B claimants to swell the numbers. To do this, and we really would like people to consider this, because your drinking water is so essential. You can't refuse it because it's coming out of your tap. And it should be pure. It should be health giving. It should be wholesome. But how can it be wholesome if they're putting in heavy metals and fluoride? And I hadn't talked about the heavy metals yet properly, but we've looked at the British Standard, which controls the quality of the fluoridating acid. And there definitely are heavy metals in the hexafluorosilicic acid, which is used to fluoridate your drinking water, or which will be used to fluoridate your drinking water.
Basically,
Um,
for the people that still think fluoride is good for you, there is naturally occurring fluoride, and that comes up via through, correct me if I'm wrong, Joy, but through the rocks that goes into the soil. It's created from gases that then come up. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So there is a natural occurring fluoride, and if you wanted to Google that, chat GPT it, whatever, you would see areas that have naturally occurring fluoride. And I know Wales is definitely one of them, and Wales do not mandatory fluoridate at all, do they? They have natural fluoride, don't they? Okay, got that wrong. Not Wales.
Edit quickly,
Edit,
edit.
edit. So there is natural fluoride. Nobody's disputing that. If there is fluoride in our toothpaste, which there is, and schools are still promoting it, and doctors and dentists are still promoting it, why do we need fluoride in the water? There's fluoride in the toothpaste, which if you're using, and the establishment, the government will say, yeah, but kids aren't brushing their teeth. Well, that's a them problem. That's a parent problem. If they want to lose their teeth and they all go black and fall out, that's a them problem. Why do the rest of us all need to have something pushed on us that we've never asked for, don't want, and is actually really harmful because it comes from toxic chemicals? And it's the same as something that happened, guys, back in 2021 when something was being pushed on us that we didn't want, and they were doing everything possible to get us to take it. Free burgers. I think in America you could even go and have a free dance in a strip club if you had your jab and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it was just bonkers. Um, and for those people that didn't smell a rat at that point, oh, so I can have a free McDonald's and a free burger, which is probably the unhealthiest food I could eat to be healthy to have a okay, all right, makes sense. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense, does it? And it's the same thing. They're pushing it on us because some people have had tooth decay a long old time ago. And it's been proven that it reduces it marginally, marginally. But it's not like Joy said, it's not taking into account how much of the stuff you take in every day. You might be somebody that drinks gallon upon gallon upon gallon, and Christ knows what that's doing to your system. Um, and then you've got fluoride in your toothpaste, and then you're drinking tea that's fluoridated. And where does it stop? So no wonder people are crippled with arthritis. No wonder Alzheimer's and dementia is through the roof because you're getting it from all angles. And now they want to mandate more areas, even though there's no evidence to suggest that it's good for us.
So the reduction in dental decay is so puny. I think the researchers called it modest, but puny is a good word for it. It doesn't do what it says on the tin. But you see, if you have a government who likes to practice cognitive dissonance, then you're not going to get them to admit that it's no good. And these research studies, which were done in 23-24, finding a very tiny reduction in dental decay, they were paid for by the government. So they are ignoring their own research
Yeah.
and motoring ahead to fluoridate 1.6 million people in the northeast of England. And these poor people don't even know what's going to hit them because there's been diddly squat publicity on it. They didn't know about the public consultation and they don't know about the decision which has been made. National media, regional media have been quieted. They have not done anything. They've been told, don't report. Now we know this is happening because we know the BBC has also been bought. And they don't like talking about fluoridation. Um,
Oh, if anybody's watching or listening that's in Northumberland and you're outraged, then tell your neighbours, tell your friends, tell your family, tell
yeah.
if so inclined, write a letter to your MP, speak to the water company and ask what the hell are they doing because there is no consent here and there's no evidence to prove that this needs to happen. So you could do your own little battle or and hyphen and you can join the class action. um, to help. It's like anything. I was having a conversation with somebody else yesterday on a podcast about changing the broken system. You can't change it, you have to start a new one. And you can only start a new one if you've got enough people gathering momentum and using interchangeable skills and practicalities and just creating whole new systems. That's how we change things. It's in numbers. There's way more of us than there is of them, and yet people have given all their power away to the government. They've got no power. They take their power from us, but we've all forgotten that because they've told us otherwise anyway. um so yeah, so you know, if you feel powerless, you can join the class action. If you don't want to join the class action for whatever reason, there is also a crowdfunder as well because Joy, because she is so passionate about fluoride or lack of, or getting rid of, should I say, has already put a substantial amount of her own money into this campaign. And so there is a crowdfund going on as well to support and help the cause. And do you know the link off the top of your head? Or if not, I can put it on the screen anyway.
So
But
it's a
if,
GoFundMe website, and you're looking for Fluoride Free Alliance UK.
yeah, cool. I'll put the link up anyway, so it makes it easy, and it'll also be in the description down below. But I think as nice as that would be to build that GoFundMe and obviously you're working towards that, the first port of call, if people are so inclined, is to do that class action, is to put their name forward so we can build those numbers and actually get that letter before action off to the government sooner rather than later, because the longer this goes on, the more people are threatened. And to go back to, you mentioned Canada earlier, some areas have banned it now in Canada. So why has Calgary just introduced it?
Canada's a very big country, and each state does what they want to do. That's the only explanation. And obviously, the powers that be in Calgary have been fed false information, and they've swallowed it.
There's probably a WEF puppet in there and a puppet in there and who knows what. But um,
But in America, America is brilliant. Let me go through the figures. Um, Florida, 23 million people were released from fluoridation on the 1st of July this year. That's followed the passing of a bill signed into effect by Governor DeSantis, following his Surgeon General going on record with a press release, press conference in December last year. So the Surgeon General said fluoridation is thoroughly bad. And then DeSantis listened and agreed, and so did the legislature of Florida. 23 million people have been released from fluoridation.
yeah,
Then we have the state of Utah. They've got about 3.5 million people in their state, and they are being released as well. And they've actually said fluoridation completely out. Whereas Florida has said, we're not going to put any chemicals in the drinking water which are not for water treatment. So they've a broader brush. Then we've got 60 other communities in America who have gradually stopped, and they didn't even have to have a law because in most cases they were voluntary agreements. And then two places in Canada, I think one of them is Montreal, and two small places in Australia. And there's one in New Zealand, which is going through the courts at the moment. 28 million people in total have been released from fluoridation since Christmas.
wow, they're the lucky ones.
So why is the UK government wanting to do it?
Exactly.
Right. So don't you know it means that you don't have to encourage behavior change in people. They don't have to clean their teeth. We've got stuff in the water to help them. Isn't that wonderful? You don't have to get them into good habits so they can live their lives without worrying about finding a toothbrush. I mean, that's disgusting, isn't it? The next thing, of course, is that the NHS dentist crisis. We don't have enough. So if we can't find you an NHS dentist, then we'll put something in the water to help you. That's kind as well. Unfortunately, they know it doesn't work. They know about the all the other reasons why you shouldn't have fluoride in your body, and still being ignored. So there has to be a hidden agenda. It has to be.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's powered by the establishment. And when people go off to Davos and have a lovely bun fight, as it were, they're told about how they should continue fluoridation because it's ever so good for keeping the population down. So I've taken me ages to come around to this point of view. I do believe that fluoridation is a depopulation agenda, the global depopulation agenda. And is it working? Well, is it reducing the number of babies being born? Is it causing us to die earlier? Possibly not in the latter case, but it's certainly making us ill in our last quarter of our lives, which is scandalous. And
Mm.
of course, that's costing the NHS more money. And as for babies' fertility reducing, yes, fluoride does reduce fertility. And yes, fluoride does contribute to miscarriages, stillbirths, because the mother's body is being toxic. Everything is being messed about with something in your body which does not have a natural place in your body.
Mm.
Fluoride is not a natural substance. We don't need it. It is not a nutrient.
Yeah.
Our enzyme pathways do not need it. In fact, they are damaged by it. And when it gets into the mitochondria in the cells, then it stops the conversion of ATP into ADP, which causes a reduction in cell energy. And if you have all your cells getting weaker, then you're going to come down with ill health.
Yeah.
We do not need fluoride in our lives, definitely not. I've been avoiding it now since 2003. I don't have arthritis, and I'm not a young lady anymore. My husband hasn't got arthritis either. We're very careful. We don't have fluoridated toothpaste. We don't have fluoridated foods. We try organic, and we most certainly filter our water. In fact, we filter it to death. We reverse osmosis it first, and then stick it through the distiller to make sure that everything is removed. And I am particularly healthy, even though, as I say, I'm not young anymore.
Yeah.
And I think I've done the right thing. I know I've done the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had some exciting news earlier, didn't we? So I had the wonderful Andrew Bridgen on the podcast, and it's actually, as me and Joy are talking now, it's literally going up in the next hour. Um, and I asked him if Joy could have a conversation with him. We know Andrew has spearheaded a lot of injustices that have gone on over the last few years. That, the post office scandal is a big one. He was the only MP speaking out about the jibber jabs to a mostly empty room. And there's other things that he's been involved with as well. And so Joy wanted to talk to him because obviously he's still an independent. He's got a conscience. He wants to do right by people and certainly his constituents. Actually, I was going to ask you, you mentioned part of Leicestershire. He's around the Colville, Loughborough area, northwest Leicestershire. Is that under threat?
No, Leicestershire has decided not to. We haven't seen anything on their Health and Wellbeing Board minutes, but Leicester City is definitely in
Okay,
favour.
okay. Um, so yeah, so he's agreed to have a conversation with Joy. We don't know where that's going to go, but if Andrew gets behind this as well in terms of the class action, we're hopeful that obviously we can grow these numbers quicker than just little old us on our own. Even though there's more than that, obviously. But and on top of that, Andrew, has been in touch with RFK. It was RFK that reached out specifically to Andrew quite some months ago to offer his support, and it happened when the Tory party ousted him out, which is obviously more than a few months ago now. But so who knows? Because we know RFK is anti-fluoride, and if we can get a connection there, who knows? Who knows what the possibilities are, Joy? So, so yeah, we'll keep you posted on that one, guys. Is there anything else, Joy, before we finish up? obviously we need to quote some websites for people to go to, but is there anything else that you would like to say specifically before we close?
We're being assaulted on all sides by toxins. And if we can't get it out of our drinking water, then everything we touch in life will be contaminated by fluoride. And fluoride should be actually still under the ground. It shouldn't be above ground. But it's been brought up by industry because the rock in which fluoride is found is very valuable rock for its phosphate content. And obviously, there's going to be the hazardous waste produced from this industry to make phosphate fertilizer. And because of that, fluoride is being let out into the world more than it would normally. And unfortunately, it's rather like the genie in the bottle. It's very difficult to get it back in again and very expensive to get shot of it. You can't just bury it because it's liquid. You can make it into a crystal and then bury it possibly,
Mm.
but that costs money. So everything here is being emoted by the needs of industry and the shareholders of companies. And they've also been joined by government policy, which is out to not keep us healthy. Um, the government is not there to keep you healthy. The government is there to um, shuffle you off this mortal coil sooner rather than later. And if it makes you ill and it causes a problem with the NHS, as far as finances is concerned, then they're still going down that pathway. They don't care. Government does not care for you.
Well, it also links in. I was just thinking, we know the NHS doesn't exist anyway, right? It just isn't the NHS anymore, and it's already been privatized. They just haven't announced it publicly. And this, I know there are still good people in the NHS, and I've heard lots of good things from people that have recently experienced the NHS. But there's also a fucking lot of shit in there as well. Some people have had horrific experiences, but I was just thinking now you get to a point, especially with the increase in dementia and all the other problems that older people have, and then they have to go into a care home or a care facility that costs thousands a week. And guess what? The people that have actually saved all their lives and actually have some money in their bank, they're using that to fund their own care. But if you haven't, then people are being forced to sell their houses to realize that money for or losing their houses. And it makes me think about the property grab that's been going on for a few years and continues to go on, asset grab as part of the WEF agenda. With people with their mortgages and the banks and all of that sort of stuff. So from my perspective, people say, "Well, that's a bit of a reach, Mal," but I think it's all linked. It's all linked. Um, and I was going to say something else, but it's gone straight out of my head. It might come back in a minute. But to go back to the class action, I know you want to call it a group challenge, but people respond, I think, to class action. They understand what that is. www.kingfisherjustice.co.uk is the easiest way you can go and register your interest. It doesn't cost you any money to register your interest. It's basically your name and your email. And then that allows the barrister to contact you with more information. And at that point, you can obviously decide whether it's something you want to go forwards with or not. And if you don't want to go forwards with, that's fine. They'll probably keep your name in reserve. If you're agreeable to that, things may change for you in the future. You can always, if you don't want to do that, you can always then go and donate if you want to offer some other support to the GoFundMe page, which is obviously helping Joy and the other people that are working on this to be able to bring this as a reality and actually challenge the government. Because if people don't do this, then they're just going to keep going and keep going. And we've already seen the overreach that's happening in freedom of speech, which doesn't seem to exist anymore in this country. Um, in terms of all the other stuff that's being indoctrinated and the division that's being created through every culture, race, gender, anything else. What we want to do is basically say, fuck off. No, this is my body, my choice. Do you remember that phrase from a few years ago? My body, my choice. It's been used a few times when it comes to women's rights in what they do with their body. And then obviously with the doctors and nurses, no jobs, no jabs, and all of that sort of stuff, this is exactly the same thing. And I know what I was going to say. Just to put it into context, and Joy alluded to this earlier, it's not just the water that's coming out your tap, is it? It's the stuff you're buying in the shelves in the supermarkets, the drinks. If you're still buying fizzy drinks or iced teas or iced coffees, it's the Starbucks, it's the Costas, it's the pub, it's in our beer, it's probably in our wine, which makes me shudder because I love red wine, but it probably is. Um, it's everywhere. So while this fluoride is being forced into our water system, we can't escape it. Even if you're in an unfluoridated area and you're not threatened, the beer or the wine you're drinking or the fizzy pop you're drinking probably is. So just do it. Anything else, Joy?
I think it's probably the fizzy lemonade which has got fluoride in it more than anything else.
Is it?
And the Coca-Cola and Pepsi Max, because Pepsi Max is made in fluoridated rugby. So that's the devil's own brew.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, so just to remind you guys, kingfisherjustice.co.uk is the easiest way to register your interest. If not, go to the GoFundMe, which is
Yeah,
yeah,
it's under Fluoride Free Alliance UK.
UK, yeah. Um, Links are on the page. But I will leave it there for today, Joy. It's been a pleasure to have you back. I hope we've given enough information for people to start actually taking action and stop just chuntering about it and actually start taking some action because that's the only way we can change anything.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Joy.
Oh, thank you, Mel.
Just a slight edit to the end of this wonderful podcast. We totally forgot to talk about the festivals that you're at this summer. So, Joy, where can people come and see you and have a lot of fun at the same time?
I just hope it is going to be fun. There are
It
so many
will.
good speakers there. Right, so I've got a sort of an ad hoc slot. I came along a bit late and I didn't get onto the poster, but Nick has been really kind and said I could do talks during the lunchtime. And I've also got a stall for free, so I can hand out the flyers relating to the class action.
And
So
which
yeah,
which
the
festival is
whole
this?
day. Hmm?
Which festival is this?
The Weekend Truth Festival. It's just outside Workington in Cumbria, up north Cumbria.
Up there, that north, and
Right.
it's the bank holiday weekend. That's right, isn't it?
It starts on the 22nd, and I think it goes until the Tuesday, the 26th of August.
That's quite a long time, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's a bit like Glastonbury. Who knows? Maybe it is the next Glastonbury.
Not so noisy and ear shattering.
Yeah, and I will also, I'm hoping to be up there as well for a couple of nights with the wonderful Mick Butler that people watching this podcast will be aware of.
Uh-huh.
Um, and there's another festival as well, which is earlier than that. So which one's that, Joy?
This one is called the Wasing Estate Festival in Berkshire,
Oh, I thought it
and
was
it's
called the
been,
Wellness Wave Festival.
yes, it's the Wasing Estate Festival, what you say, the Wellness Way by Philly J. Lay.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yes,
And the wonderful Barbara O'Neill is speaking, is she not, on the
apparently.
Friday and the Saturday?
Yep. And apparently this time I have actually got a proper slot. I'm not a poor relation this time.
Do you know what time? Do you know what time you're on?
No, I don't. I think I'm opting for the Saturday, but I'm not quite sure if that is actually in her diary yet. I must get in touch with her.
Yeah. And you are actually going to be on her podcast, aren't you? You're going to meet her on the 14th of July.
I'll just double check that.
Um,
Yes,
and you're
14th of
meeting
July.
and you're meeting Doc Malik as well, another big podcaster.
Two in one day, my word.
And you've just done Gareth Ike, and you've just done UK Column Joy. So you are getting yourself around.
Yes, I'm putting myself about a bit.
You are. And the other thing we forgot to say was, what's the website for you, Joy? We've got the
This
website for the class action. What's the website for you?
Right, so my website's got a lot of information on it, and it's got three F's in it. So it's www.ukffalliance
Cool. Okay, so that's where you can go, people. Joy is also on TikTok now, by the way. I will put the links below. Fluoride Free is on Instagram, it's on X. There is a Facebook group as well that you can come and join, and we share information in there. So lots of places that you can come and communicate with Joy. Oh, and the Telegram group, of course. So need to put all that in as well underneath. So we'll leave it there. Thanks, Joy, for jumping back on with me. And
Oh, you're welcome, Mel. See you later again.
see you
Bye
later.
now.